Minister.
Speaker, well, I'm very happy to respond to the question that's come from my colleague on behalf of his constituents. And I would say to the honourable member that it's important to distinguish when they speak about the reductions in support for libraries. That, in fact, did take place between 1998 and 2002. Now, since 2003, since we've come to government, the number of full-time equivalent teacher librarians and library technicians has increased by over 12%, from 2,892 positions to 3,240 positions this year. It is important to note that every new school built in the province of Ontario has accommodation for a library, because our government values the resource of a library in every school. This is in addition to the commitment of $40 million over the next 4 years, since 2008, to support an estimated 160 positions.
Thank you. New question.
Thank you, Minister. Today, the Toronto Star reported that the Windsor-Essex Catholic District School Board is planning to dismantle all of its libraries and has laid off all but 4 of their library technicians. Minister, this is of great concern to my constituents in the riding of Essex, as libraries are an integral part of a school and students rely on libraries to enhance their learning. Minister, why has the board taken this approach? Is it because of underfunding?
Minister.
Well, Speaker, again, following up on my previous answer, our government has only increased funding to libraries. It was the previous government that cut funding to libraries. Our government has only increased funding to libraries. And certainly support to the Windsor Catholic Board has increased by 34%, and that in the face, Speaker, of declining enrollment, a declining enrollment of 17%. So we believe that it's very important to provide boards with those resources. That's why in every new school we build, we make sure that there is a library there. And I'm sure that people in the community are going to be contacting the people they elected last October to have them understand they too believe, because we've been hearing from parents about the value libraries have to support learning of their children and their success.
Very good. Very good.
New question. Member from Newmarket Aurora.
To the Minister of Infrastructure. Speaker, since
it's my first time in the chair during question period. I would ask the members to be gentle. Thank you.
Speaker, I'd ask for the same consideration. Since 2005, only contractors who are signatory to an agreement between the City of Hamilton and the United Brotherhood of Carpenters and Joiners of America have been allowed to bid on city construction jobs. Limiting the competitive bid process could end up inflating the cost of the Pan Am Stadium and Velodrome Stadium projects planned for Hamilton by millions of dollars. I'd like to know from the Minister of Infrastructure, can he give us his assurance that no contractor will be shut out of the bidding process for these projects, and that Infrastructure Ontario will ensure a fair and open bidding process?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm pleased to answer that question. First of all, I want to say that the province of Ontario has had a very positive working relationship with municipalities. Municipalities in Ontario have the right to make rules with respect to procurement, with respect to agreements with labour groups in their community. They've had that right for a considerable period of time, and we will work closely with the City of Hamilton on all infrastructure projects, and in areas where the City has the right to make arrangements with labour groups or unions, we will respect the municipalities in that regard.
Member from Newmarket Aurora.
Speaker, in that case, the Minister will listen to the City of Hamilton who is claiming that the Carpenters Union monopoly agreement has cost the city as much as $10 million during a regular construction year. Applying that same monopoly agreement to the Pan Am projects will potentially inflate those projects by millions of dollars to the taxpayers of Ontario. Will the minister, based on his assurance that he respects municipalities, will he undertake to ensure that all Pan Am infrastructure games projects will be subject to an open bidding process in this province?
Minister.
The member should know that the construction industry across Ontario is extremely happy with our infrastructure program, our infrastructure spending, and we have had in the province of Ontario and across Canada the most successful infrastructure program in the history of Canada, in the history of Ontario, and it's been exceptional. We in the ministry have received almost no complaints whatsoever from the construction industry. Those complaints that we've received, we have met with individuals. We're working out any concerns that they might have. This has been the infrastructure government, the best infrastructure government in the history of the province of Ontario.
New question, member from Nickel Belt.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Ma question est pour le ministre du Travail.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question is for the Minister of Labour.
Former Newfoundland Premier Daniel Williams set up an industrial inquiry commission to examine the strike. The commission reported that labour laws need to change to ensure foreign corporations, and I quote, respond to Canadian labour relations values. In comparison, the Ontario government did nothing during or after the strike and let 3,000 workers on the picket line for a year to the detriment of the Sudbury economy and community. Unlike the Newfoundland government, Ontario's government has buried its head in the sand and said that everything is good with our labour laws. Why? Will the minister review the protracted strikes and lockouts in our province?
Minister of Labour.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I should say. On this side of the House, we are indeed very proud of the extensive work we've done with our labour groups. In Ontario, over the last 8 years, we've had the best labour peace that we've had in all history. We have 99% of all labour negotiations are done so without lockout or strike, and we continue to advance on that cause. And in situations where there are disputes, we have our mediators, our professional staff available to them at all times, and we will continue to support the outstanding men and women who work in this province, who provide excellent degree of service and makes us competitive on the world stage, including those individuals in Sudbury.
Member from Nickel Belt.
Well, Madam Speaker, in Ontario we see patterns of long strikes and lockout. We see new industry providing security guards and replacement workers during strikes and lockout. In Sudbury, Brantford, Vaughan, Trenton, Nanticoke, Toronto, Brampton, Mississauga, Bowmanville, Pembroke, Sarnia and Hamilton, we see protracted labour dispute. But the minister says all is good with our labour laws. Will the McGuinty government follow Newfoundland lead and set up a commission of inquiry to examine all of those protracted labour disputes right here in Ontario?
Minister.
Madam Speaker, we will continue to support our labour groups, continue to support the contracts that are in place. We will continue to support those workers and what makes Ontario competitive. We will have our contracts. What we won't do, Madam Speaker, is go back to the days when there was constant disruption, constant disputes, or in the time when the NDP were there, they were ripping up their contracts and introducing social contracts. That is not what this side is about. We are not going to propose any more antagonism. We certainly want fair agreements. We want people to negotiate at the collective bargaining, and we encourage, Madam Speaker, the collective bargaining process. Thank you. New
question, member from Ottawa, Orleans.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is for the Minister of Revenue. Minister, you recently appeared before the Standing Committee for Estimates, where you tabled the average annual savings and costs by household income as a result of our government's comprehensive tax reform package. Minister, you showed that for households in Ontario with an income of $150,000 or less, families will break even or be ahead with this package. You also mentioned a list of prominent politicians, including Prime Minister Stephen Harper and his Finance Minister, who are supportive of the tax harmonization. Mr. Speaker, we know the federal Conservatives support tax harmonization. Will the minister tell us who else of note supports harmonization?
Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to take this opportunity to thank the member from Ottawa Orleans. You know, he's doing a great job in his riding, and he's letting his constituents know about the HST and our comprehensive tax package. He's doing a great job, so thank you very much for that.
Who's on board?
Madam Speaker, when the member is right, we did receive a lot of federal support. In fact, the federal government played a crucial role in supporting Ontario's move to adopting the HST. In fact, yes, it provided Ontario with some generous incentives to harmonize, such as $4.3 billion in transition support and agreeing to administer the HST for no charge, among other things. Here's what Minister Flaherty said, Canada's Minister of Finance. I have long said provincial sales tax harmonization is the single most important step provinces with retail sales tax can take to improve the competitiveness of Canadian businesses. Madam Speaker, the real question is, where do they stand?
Member from Ottawa Orleans.
Thank you, Speaker. And Minister, if the total household income is less than $150,000 on average, a family breaks even or is slightly ahead with our new tax reform package. I note that this is because our tax package includes $12 billion in tax relief for Ontario families. I also know that Jack Mintz, an economist, has reviewed our comprehensive tax package and said that the HST would strengthen our economy over the next 10 years, as it will. Number one, attract an additional $47 billion in investment. Number two, it would add 600,000 jobs to our economy over that 10 years. Number three, the earning power of Ontarians would be increased 10%. Minister, this all seems positive, yet the opposition parties are not supporting it.
Question.
A rookie mistake, if I ever saw one.
Minister.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. There were a couple of other quotes I wanted to put in the first question. The first one is from a member who I have a lot of great respect for, and it's the member from Newmarket, Aurora. He says no one can argue with wanting a more simplified tax process. I think we all support that. I would agree. The other quote I'd like to share is from Senator Bob Runciman.
Order!
I think, in theory, our party is supportive of harmonization. But here's someone who I think we all respect.
Yes.
And that is, he says, the HST, which many people love to hate, is nonetheless good economic and tax policy if we want to create jobs in the province of Ontario. And you know what? It took some courage to do so. It was John Tory. The Civic Action Summit.
Thank you. There being no deferred votes, this House stands in recess until 1 o'clock this afternoon.